The room was silent except for the soft hum of the force shields. Bright blue lights moved across the walls of the alien station, and every creature inside stood very still. They were all staring at the giant shape lying in the center of the dome. The air felt heavy like the start of a storm. No one dared to breathe too loudly. The creature looked asleep, but everyone knew the truth. It was the deadliest dragon ever found. Its name was Vorthix. Vorthix was huge, with silver scales that looked like metal and wings folded tight against his body. Even while resting, he looked powerful. His claws were long and sharp, and the floor below him had deep marks from his earlier struggles. The aliens remembered how he once tried to break free. The whole station shook that day. Since then, nobody came close. They always watched him from a safe distance. The fear in their eyes was easy to see. Today things were different. A human rescue ship had arrived. Captain Ellard stepped out first, calm and focused, followed by a small group of humans. Beside him walked a little girl named Mira. She was only 7 years old, with bright eyes and a quiet smile. The aliens did not understand why a child was on a station like this. They whispered among themselves, confused and worried. Mira looked around with simple curiosity, not fear. The station lights suddenly flickered. Loud alarms rang through the hall. Several aliens jumped back. Vorthix's body temperature dropped fast, too fast. Scientists rushed to the screens, shouting numbers and warnings. Some thought he might wake in a rage. Others thought he might release a dangerous energy pulse. The tension grew thicker. Everyone backed away from the dome. Captain Ellard grabbed Mira's hand and told her to stay close. But Mira did not listen long. She felt something strange, like a soft pull inside her heart. She looked at Vorthix, and for a moment she thought she saw sadness on his still face. The alarms did not scare her. Instead, she felt sorry for the creature. While the adults argued and prepared emergency shields, Mira slipped away. She walked past the scientists, past the guards, and straight toward the dome door. No one noticed her at first. She moved quietly with small, careful steps. When the guards finally saw her, it was too late. She was already inside the dome. Aliens froze where they stood. They watched with wide eyes, unable to speak. A child was walking directly toward the most feared creature in the galaxy. Some covered their mouths. Others shook in disbelief. Captain Ellard yelled her name, but she did not stop. The floor felt cold under her shoes. Vorthix lay still, but Mira noticed little things. His breathing was slow and weak. His tail moved just a little, like he was having a bad dream. She felt a strong need to help him. She moved closer, and the space around her felt warmer, like the creature's presence reached out to her. Outside the dome, scientists argued loudly. One shouted that they had to pull the child out. Another warned that opening the door again could trigger the dragon. Some aliens grabbed control panels, but others stopped them, afraid of making things worse. Nobody could decide anything. All they could do was watch. Mira stood right in front of Vorthix. His nose was as tall as her chest. She lifted her hand but did not touch him. Instead, she leaned forward and gave a small kiss on the cold surface of his nose. It was gentle and quiet, like a signal of peace. The entire station fell into deep silence. Even the alarms seemed to fade for a moment. Vorthix's body reacted. His temperature changed, rising slowly. His long, deep breaths grew steady. Sensors around the dome beeped in surprise. The aliens looked at the screens and then at Mira. None of them believed what they were seeing. Captain Ellard stood with his hands shaking, unable to understand how this was happening. He expected danger, but nothing bad happened. Mira looked calm and peaceful, as if she knew exactly what she was doing. The dragon's eyelids twitched. A low rumble came from deep inside his chest, not loud, not angry. It sounded like a soft sigh. Mira smiled at him as if she had been waiting for it. The aliens could not make sense of it. The deadliest creature was reacting to a simple act of kindness from a small human child. The moment felt unreal. No one moved. No one dared to speak. And yet, everyone understood one thing clearly. Something had started. Something big. Something no one expected. And it all began with one small child who was not afraid. The dome was silent, as if the whole station forgot how to breathe. Outside the glass walls, hundreds of aliens watched with wide, frozen eyes. None of them had ever seen anything like this. A tiny human child had just kissed the nose of the deadliest dragon in the galaxy, and the creature had not reacted with anger or force. Instead, Vorthix's body warmed, and his breathing became slow and peaceful, like he had finally found rest. Captain Ellard pressed his hands against the dome, his face pale. He wanted to run inside and grab Mira, but something kept him still. It was not fear. It was confusion. Everything he knew told him that a creature like Vorthix should have reacted with rage, but instead the dragon seemed calmer than ever before. His instincts told him to wait. The aliens around him whispered in panic. Some talked fast, saying the child had awakened a hidden danger. Others insisted she had done the impossible and connected with the dragon. A few simply stared, too shocked to speak. Their hands shook as they checked the hologram screens. The numbers did not lie. Vorthix was no longer in a dangerous state. His energy levels were stable. He was getting stronger in a steady, gentle way. Inside the dome, Mira slowly opened her eyes. She had kept them closed during the kiss, praying in her small heart that she would not hurt the creature. When she stepped back and saw the dragon's warm breath rise in a white cloud, she smiled. She felt no fear. She felt something else, something like friendship. Vorthix moved very slightly. His eye opened just a little. A glowing, soft blue color appeared under the heavy eyelid. The aliens gasped as one. Even Captain Ellard felt the hairs rise on his arms. The dragon was waking. But the moment his eye focused on Mira, his body relaxed again. The glow softened. He did not attack. He did not roar. He simply looked at her as if trying to understand why someone so small would show him kindness. Mira lifted her hand, reaching toward him. She did not touch him yet. She only held her hand near his face and whispered, "It's okay. You're not alone." Her voice was small, but the dragon's ear opened slightly as if he heard every word. A soft rumble escaped his chest, low, deep, and careful. It was not a threat. It felt more like a tired creature trying to speak. The aliens could not believe it. One of them, a tall silver-skinned researcher, trembled as he pointed at the monitors. He repeated the same sentence again and again. "This is impossible. This is impossible." His voice cracked each time. Captain Ellard finally unlocked the dome door and stepped inside. He walked slowly, ready to shield Mira if anything went wrong. But as he approached her, Vorthix did not react. The dragon kept his eye on Mira, trusting her, not fearing the captain. "Mira," the captain whispered. "Come back to me." She shook her head gently. "He's not scary. He was just sad." Her simple words made Captain Ellard stop in place. Sad? A being that the entire galaxy feared? A creature that shook planets when it moved? Yet somehow, when he looked at the dragon now, something inside him changed. Vorthix did not look like a monster. He looked tired, lost, maybe even lonely. Mira stepped even closer to the dragon and placed her small hand on his nose. This time she touched him with confidence. Vorthix did not move away. His breathing deepened, and his wings loosened as if he was finally letting go of pain he had carried for too long. Sensors blinked brightly. The dragon's body was stabilizing faster than ever. The aliens outside stared with open mouths. They had spent years trying to control this creature, using machines, shields, and force. None of it worked. But a little human child, with no weapons and no fear, had done what no technology could do. Captain Ellard walked closer and knelt next to Mira. "How did you know he wouldn't hurt you?" "I didn't know," she said. "I just felt he was lonely." The captain looked up at the dragon. Vorthix blinked once, slowly, almost like a greeting. The moment felt unreal, like something out of an old myth. But it was happening right in front of them. The aliens watching from outside started recording everything. Their leaders began talking quickly, sending messages across the station. Word spread fast. Other ships connected to the station. Other species listened in shock. A human child had touched Vorthix without getting hurt. That news alone was enough to shake the galaxy. As more aliens gathered, a strange silence filled the hall. It was not fear anymore. It was awe. True awe. The kind that came when something unbelievable happened before their eyes. Vorthix slowly lowered his head, resting it closer to Mira. His eye closed again, but this time it looked peaceful, not weak. Mira gently stroked the warm scales. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'm here." Outside the dome, aliens from many worlds watched the scene in silence. Their breath caught in their throats. Their hearts raced. Because in that moment they all understood something powerful. A kiss from one small human child had stopped the entire galaxy. The light inside the dome changed as the long minutes passed. What began as cold blue light slowly warmed into a soft gold. It felt like the whole station was holding its breath, waiting to see what the dragon would do next. Vorthix was fully awake now, but he did not rise or roar. He kept his great head lowered near Mira, as if he trusted her more than anyone in the galaxy. Mira sat on the ground beside him, her small hand resting gently on his warm scale. She felt tiny compared to him, but she did not feel afraid. Instead, she felt a strange calm, like she had known this creature long before today. Captain Ellard stood close behind her, ready to protect her if anything changed, but his heart slowly stopped racing. The dragon did not show even a hint of danger. Outside the dome, the aliens watched with great confusion. Some were scared. Some were shocked. Some whispered to each other, confused about how a deadly creature could behave like a gentle giant in front of a child. A few aliens even knelt down, overwhelmed by what they were seeing. It felt like history was being written before them. The station leader, a tall alien named Jorvok, stepped forward. His skin glowed faint purple when he was nervous, and now it glowed bright. "This cannot be real," he muttered. "The dragon does not bond. It does not trust. It destroys." But his voice did not sound certain anymore. Even he could see the truth in front of him. Vorthix slowly opened both eyes. Two bright blue lights shone like twin stars. The dragon shifted his massive wings slightly, creating a soft gust of air. Mira brushed the wind from her face and giggled. The dragon froze for a moment, surprised by the sound. His eyes softened. He lifted his head just a little, then lowered it again, but this time he lowered it toward her feet as if offering respect. Captain Ellard gasped. "He's bowing," he whispered. "To you." Mira blinked. She did not fully understand what that meant, but she gently touched the top of Vorthix's nose again. The dragon let out a low hum, a deep sound that shook the floor but did not feel scary. It felt warm. Aliens in the observation deck watched the readings appear on their screens. The dragon's body showed calm signals. His heart rate was gentle. His energy was balanced. One alien scientist spoke with a trembling voice, "This is a bonding sign. The dragon has chosen the child." Those words spread quickly. In minutes, aliens across the station repeated the same thing. The deadliest creature in the stars had chosen a human child. Jorvok rubbed his forehead. "This changes everything," he said softly. "We cannot treat him as a monster anymore." Captain Ellard walked closer to the dragon, watching every movement. "Why, Mira?" he asked aloud, mostly to himself, but Vorthix reacted. The dragon turned his glowing eyes toward the captain. For a moment, the captain felt a heavy pressure in his mind, like the dragon was trying to send him a message. Then the pressure faded, leaving only a soft echo. Mira did not feel the pressure. She only felt something warm in her chest. She heard a quiet voice inside her mind, like the gentle tone of a dream. It was not clear words, more like feelings, loneliness, confusion, fear, and then something new. She looked up at Captain Ellard. "He feels alone," she whispered. "He thinks everyone hates him." Ellard stared at her. "He told you that?" "Not with words," she said, touching her chest. "Here." The realization spread across the room like fire. The dragon was trying to communicate, and Mira was the only one who could understand him. Jorvok stepped forward and touched the glass. "Child," he said through the speaker, "ask him something. Anything. We need to know if this connection is real." Mira turned to Vorthix and placed both hands on his nose. "Do you understand me?" she asked in a soft voice. A tremor passed through the dragon's body. His wings shifted and he let out a long rumbling breath. Mira felt an answer inside her mind. A warm yes. She smiled brightly. "He understands," she said. The aliens backed away in shock. Some placed their hands on their heads. Others stared at the dragon with new respect. The deadliest being in the galaxy had chosen a human child, not to fight, not to escape, but to connect. Vorthix moved again, this time slowly curling his tail around Mira in a protective arc. He did not touch her, but he made a barrier, showing the entire station that she was under his protection. Anyone who came close would have to face him. Captain Ellard stepped back, understanding the meaning clearly. He's guarding her. Mira felt no fear. She leaned against the dragon's warm side. "He's my friend," she said. Outside, whispers spread like a wave. The dragon chose a human. The human saved the dragon. This will change the galaxy. For the first time since he was captured, Vorthix closed his eyes not from weakness, but from comfort. And for the first time, a small human child felt the heartbeat of a creature the whole galaxy feared, and knew he would never hurt her. In that peaceful moment, something powerful was born. A bond no creature, no alien, no scientist could break. The dragon had chosen his human. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The golden light inside the dome dimmed to a quiet glow as the station shifted into night cycle. Most aliens had left the viewing area, but the important ones stayed. They stood far back, whispering in low voices as they watched the strange scene before them. Mira sat comfortably beside Vorthix, her back resting against the warm scales of his giant body. Captain Ellard stayed a few steps away, tired but awake, trying to understand what had happened. Vorthix breathed slowly, almost like he was afraid to disturb the child leaning on him. Every breath rose in a warm wave that pushed Myra's hair gently. She didn't mind. She felt safe here, safer than she had ever felt around strange aliens and loud machines. But the scientists were restless. Something about this bond did not make sense. Dragons like Vorthix were known for their silence. They did not speak, did not send signals, did not respond to any language. For years, everyone believed the dragon species had no real way to communicate. But Myra's connection proved all of that wrong. Something deeper was happening. Jorvok, the station leader, stepped forward with a small device. "We need to try one test," he said quietly to Captain Ellard. "Not to harm him. Only to understand." Ellard nodded carefully. "As long as nothing scares him." Jorvok pressed a button. A soft wave of harmless energy floated through the dome. It touched Vorthix's wings, his scales, and finally his head. The dragon's eyes opened gently. He did not grow angry. Instead he looked directly at Mira. Mira felt something inside her mind, like a soft light pressing gently. She placed her hand on Vorthix's nose again. "It's okay," she whispered. "They just want to understand you." The light faded. Mira blinked twice, confused. New images formed in her head, strange lines, glowing shapes, and moving patterns she had never seen before. They felt like memories but not hers. They belonged to Vorthix. She gasped softly. "He's trying to talk," she said. Jorvok looked at her with sudden interest. "Speak to him again. Ask him why he never talked before." Mira nodded and looked into the dragon's bright eyes. "Can you show me why you were silent?" Vorthix didn't move for a long moment. Then a warm wave flowed out from him and Mira saw more images. She saw him trapped in cold cages on different worlds. She saw scientists using bright machines to scan him. She saw soldiers standing far away with weapons ready. And in every place, every station, every prison, Vorthix was alone. "No one listened," Mira whispered. "No one understood your voice." The images showed something else. Dragons did not speak with sound. They spoke with feelings, memories, and visions. Most species could not receive these signals. Only humans had the right kind of mind to feel them clearly. But even humans had never been close enough or calm enough to hear. Until Mira. Captain Ellard took a slow breath. "So all this time he wasn't silent. We just couldn't hear him." Mira nodded. "He was calling." No one answered. Vorthix lowered his head. His eyes dimmed with sadness. Mira placed her forehead gently against his warm scales. "You're not alone anymore," she said. The dome lights flickered suddenly, and new data appeared on the screens outside. The scientists gasped. The dragon's body contained long, glowing lines inside his scales. They were not veins. They were maps, star maps. Each glowing pattern matched ancient star routes that had been lost for thousands of years. Jorvok stared at the screens. "These are the old paths," he whispered. "Routes our ancestors searched for but never found." Mira felt the images in her mind again. Vorthix showed her stars, bright and colorful, forming familiar shapes. One route led to a blue planet full of light. Another led to a field of golden gas. Another to a cluster of peaceful moons. She felt him share those places with her like a friend sharing a secret. "He remembers all of them," she said. "His family flew through those stars." Captain Ellard frowned gently. "What happened to them?" The dragon's body trembled. The images changed. Mira saw a great cosmic storm, bright like fire but silent. She saw dragons flying through it, struggling. Many disappeared in the storm. Only one survived, Vorthix, thrown far from home and captured by mistake. Myra's voice cracked a little. "He lost them. All of them." Ellard closed his eyes, understanding the deep pain behind the dragon's silence. Jorvok spoke suddenly, voice shaking with realization. "He carries the last map to their home. And maybe, he carries the knowledge to find a new home." The dome became quiet again. Vorthix lifted his head and looked down at Mira. She touched his cheek gently. "You want to go home," she whispered. A warm reply filled her mind. "Yes, but not alone." Mira smiled softly. "Then I'll help you." The dragon lowered his massive wings around her, not trapping her, but sheltering her like she was precious. Captain Ellard watched with wide eyes. "He chose her," he said again, softer this time. "And now we know why." The secret behind the dragon's silence was no mystery anymore. He had been speaking all along. The galaxy simply hadn't been able to hear him. Until a small human child finally did. A soft morning light filled the station dome as the news cycle began. The golden glow made Vorthix's scales shine like warm metal. Aliens gathered quietly around the viewing deck. They were not afraid anymore. They stood with calm faces, watching the dragon and the small human child beside him. Something had changed in the galaxy overnight. Everyone could feel it. Mira woke slowly, stretching her little arms before sitting up. She smiled when she saw Vorthix's giant eye already open, watching her with the same gentle calm he had shown since the night before. Captain Ellard stood nearby, exhausted but hopeful. He knew today would bring serious decisions. Jorvok and the Council of Alien Leaders entered the dome area. They moved slowly, respectfully, no longer treating Vorthix like a dangerous monster. Instead, they acted as if they were approaching a wise guardian. Their voices were soft when they spoke. "We have discussed everything," Jorvok said. "And we understand one truth. The dragon wants to return home. And he wants the child with him." Mira looked up at Captain Ellard. She was not scared. She was excited. "Can I go with him?" she whispered. Ellard knelt beside her. "It's a big journey, Mira. It might be dangerous." She held Vorthix's warm scale and shook her head. "Not dangerous with him." Vorthix let out a quiet rumble, almost like agreement. His wings shifted gently and he lowered his head to Mira. The message was clear. He wanted her to come. The council waited for Captain Ellard's answer. He looked at Mira for a long moment. He thought about the danger, the unknown stars ahead, and the strange bond between the child and the dragon. But he also saw something he could not deny. Mira was the only one who could truly speak with Vorthix. She was the only one who could help him find his way. Finally, Ellard nodded. If he protects her and if she's safe, then yes. She may go. Mira hugged him tightly. Then she wrapped her arms around Vorthix's nose. The dragon blinked slowly as if promising to guard her with his whole life. Jorvok stepped closer to the dragon. "We want to help you begin your journey," he said. "You carry maps no one else has seen. If you guide us, we can guide you." Vorthix lifted his head and released a soft pulse of light from his scales. The maps inside his body glowed brighter, projecting faint shapes on the dome walls. The aliens watched in amazement. They recorded the glowing lines, studying the paths to ancient worlds that had been forgotten. Mira stepped forward and placed her small hand on one of the glowing lines on Vorthix's side. When she touched it, the shape moved, forming a star pattern. The pattern pointed toward a far corner of the galaxy, a place full of light and quiet space. "This is where he wants to go," she said. The council agreed. "We will prepare a ship to escort you," Jorvok said. "This is a moment for all worlds. You are not only helping the dragon. You may be helping us find new homes, new paths, new hope." Hours later, the docking bay opened. A sleek ship waited, ready for long travel. But before anyone boarded it, Vorthix made a choice that surprised everyone. The dragon unfolded his massive wings and lifted Mira onto his back, placing her gently in a safe curve of his scales. The ship was not needed. He wanted to fly on his own. Aliens stepped back. Some bowed. Some placed hands over their hearts. A quiet respect filled the room. They were watching something rare, a bond strong enough to change the future. Captain Ellard placed a small travel pack beside Mira. "Be brave," he said softly, "and listen to him. You're a team now." Mira nodded. "I'll take care of him." Vorthix lowered his wings again, making a shield around her. The air grew warm as his body prepared for flight. The bay lights dimmed. The platform shook gently. Jorvok raised his voice. "Let this journey begin. For the dragon. For the child. And for all of us." With one powerful sweep of his wings, Vorthix rose into the air. The wind rushed through the bay, lifting dust and light. Mira held tight, laughing with excitement. The dragon soared higher, glowing brighter as the old star maps inside him awakened. The bay doors opened to the vast sky of space. Stars stretched in every direction. Vorthix flew forward, strong and steady, carrying Mira toward a path no one had traveled for ages. As they passed the edge of the station, dozens of ships followed behind at a respectful distance. It was not a chase. It was an escort. The first journey of two worlds, one dragon and one child, leading the galaxy into a new age. Mira looked ahead, eyes shining. "We'll find your home," she said. Vorthix's warm reply echoed in her mind, filled with hope and light. Together they began their new journey. One that would shape the future of all species who watched them disappear into the stars.